What if tomorrow morning you wake up and the whole world has no electricity, no internet? No alarms, no social media, no endless stream of emails. Only the sound of a rooster crowing, the wind passing over the fields, and the glow of a small oil lamp. In this video, History for Sleep will take you back to the year 1850 to live through a slow, peaceful day, and perhaps funnier than you might imagine. Let this story lull you to sleep, while also making you smile as you picture yourself sitting in a wooden kitchen, eating a piece of bread burnt on the edges. If you enjoy this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so together we can build a world where history is not only for learning, but also for sleeping well. You open your eyes. There is no sharp ting-ting-ting sound of an alarm clock. There is no bright screen forcing your eyes toward new notifications. Only a pale light slipping through the cracks of a wooden door. A faint yellow glow, warm yet timid, like a child learning to walk, wandering shyly into the room. You realize today is not the 21st century. There is no light switch by the bed. No charger waiting. No Wi-Fi waiting for you to check. Only the year 1850. Only your own breath and the crow of a rooster in the distance ringing like a natural alarm clock, steadier, more patient than any app. You stay under the blanket a little longer, feeling the coarse texture of the quilt, not smooth like industrial fabrics. It is thick, heavy, carrying the smell of old linen, mingled with a touch of wood and the smoke from last night's fire. A scent both simple and comforting, like the fragrance of memory. Historians might debate, is this the smell of hard labor or the humble fragrance of a slower life? But to you, it is simply warmth. Outside the window, the wind brushes gently against the trees. Leaves whisper softly, a slow morning greeting from nature. Dogs bark here and there across the neighbor's yard. Hooves strike the dirt road. Some farmer has risen earlier than you. You stretch your body and rise. The bed lets out a creak. The sound of old wood, an accidental instrument, one you cannot switch off like a phone alarm. But it is not harsh. It is more like a sigh. All right, get up, another day begins. You step barefoot onto the wooden floor. The boards are cold, a chilly reminder. This is not a cozy hotel with central heating. This is a house in 1850. You and the house endure the morning chill together, waiting to grow warmer as the sun climbs higher. Morning light now slips in more freely. It sweeps across the wall, highlighting the small cracks in the plaster, the rough wooden frames, and the lazy stretch of your shadow. No LEDs, no blinding white light. Only a soft yellow glow, deepening like a living oil painting. In the kitchen, last night's ashes are still smoldering. You hear the crackle of wood as someone rekindles the fire. Thin smoke rises, mingling with the scent of old ash, creating the unmistakable fragrance of an 1850 morning. If you ever complained about the smell of an overheating phone charger, now you only smell burning wood, and it is far more comforting. A black iron kettle sits on the hearth. The water has not yet boiled, only murmurs quietly, like a whispered song, coaxing you awake. That sound of water is the startup chime of the 19th century. You splash your face with a ladle of cold water, freshly drawn from the well, so cold it makes you shiver. Yet it wakes you more gently than any cup of industrial coffee. The drops run down your neck, slipping into your coarse linen shirt. You feel cold, awake, and real. Outside, the sun has risen more clearly. You hear a rooster flapping its wings, a cow lowing, the grind of wooden wheels over gravel. Together they create a country symphony Spotify will never have in its library. You pause for a moment, exhale, and realize today will be long and slow. No emails. No deadlines. No 47 app notifications. Only the sun guiding you from morning to night. Only breath, wind, rooster calls, and the rhythm of your own heart. You smile, and the year 1850 officially begins. You've only just left the bed, your face still marked with pillow lines like a map of the world. In the 21st century, you could open a selfie camera, blur it with a filter, and pretend you look fresh. But in 1850, no filters, no cameras. Only one solution, a ladle of cold water straight to the face. On the porch, a round wooden barrel waits. Not bottled mineral water with a fancy label saying super clean ionized. Just well water pulled straight from the earth, free for life, no payment plan required. You hold the ladle. It's made of wood, rough but sturdy. If it drops on your foot, you might lose a toe, unlike a plastic IKEA cup that only lands with a dull thud. Across its surface, small cracks run like crooked lines, resembling the design of a railway map, though in 1850 the tracks weren't even finished. You dip the ladle in. A whoomp sound rises, like someone tossing a stone into a pond. If this were the 21st century, that sound would already be turned into a nature pack alarm tone on a phone. But here, it's just the sound of water. You splash the water onto your face. Cold. Cold as if a whole glacier were melting directly onto your skin. Your body shivers, your eyes snap open, then shut tight again. This is the 19th century version of Red Bull, cheaper and more effective. Water runs down your collar, making you tremble. You remember the soft feel of modern cotton t-shirts, then glance down at your coarse linen shirt. It soaks slowly, holds the cold longer, and clings damp against your skin. This feeling, if sold in a modern spa, would surely have a fancy name like Cold Shock Therapy, Vintage Edition. You reach for the bar of soap beside the barrel. A lopsided square block, dull yellow in color. Its smell is hard to describe, part animal fat, part lye, with a hint of dry grass. It's nothing less than the scent of a country market on a rainy day. But in 1850, this was the luxury organic handmade edition. No ads, no influencers live streaming. Just you and a bar of soap slowly dissolving with time. You rub it across your hands. Foam appears, thin, scarce, as sparse as the hair on a man in his 40s. But still better than nothing. You scrub, listening to the sound of skin against the faint bubbles, and remind yourself, clean is enough. Who needs thick foam like the toothpaste commercials promise? You wipe your face with a linen towel. It was dried in the sun yesterday, carrying the smell of wind, sunlight, and a bit of dust from the road. The fabric is coarse, scratchy, rustling against your skin, like being rubbed with the lightest grade of sandpaper. In the 21st century, it would surely be marketed with the slogan, Exfoliating Massage Towel, Rustic Classic Edition. You press the towel to your face a little longer, then set it down. The face in the small mirror appears, no filter, no studio lighting. Just you, flushed pink from the cold, alert as if you'd downed 3 cups of coffee. This is the 1850s skincare routine, a single step, yet effective enough that you don't need step 2. Outside, others are drawing water too. The dipper strikes the barrel with a thock, thock, a slow, natural bass line. Children giggle as they're splashed with cold water, adding a few high notes to the mix. Together with the rooster's crow and the whisper of the wind, it all becomes a morning remix. No DJ, no Bluetooth speaker, yet refreshing all the same. You sit down on the doorstep, letting the wind dry your hair and your skin. No need for a pricey Dyson hairdryer. Just free, natural air with sparrows hopping beside you like background actors. You realize everything moves slower. One dipper of water can become an event. One towel can become an experience. In the 21st century, your morning might pass in 5 hurried minutes. In 1850, just washing your face could take half an hour, and strangely enough, you find it pleasant. You exhale deeply. The scent of well water, of wood, of wind still lingers. Your face is cool, your mind clear, ready for whatever comes next. In the kitchen, the smell of toasted bread, oatmeal porridge, and fire-roasted coffee calls to you. You rise. Breakfast in 1850 is waiting. You step into the kitchen. There's no click of a light switch, no hum of a microwave. Instead, there's the crackle of wood burning in the stove. A small sound, yet enough to fill the whole room, like a free acoustic concert every morning. The scent of smoke blends with toasted bread. A deep, warm brown aroma evoking home sweet home without scented candles or oil diffusers. You inhale and your stomach growls. In the 21st century, you might tap your phone to order fast food. But here, fast food in 1850 is a slice of toast, edges charred. On the wooden table sits a large pot of thick oatmeal. It isn't dressed up with dried fruit, chia seeds, or shredded coconut like an Instagram post. It's just beige gray, plain, looking more like wallpaper paste. But you scoop a spoonful, blow on it, and taste. The gentle sweetness of grain, the soft richness of fresh milk spreading slowly. Turns out the wallpaper paste of 1850 tastes surprisingly good. Beside it, a pot of coffee boils on the stove. Not pods or a shiny machine worth thousands. Just rough roasted beans simmered with water in a black iron kettle. The aroma is strong, a little burnt, touched with smoke. Compared to modern coffee, it's like an opera singer performing right next to your ear. Slightly overwhelming, yet impossible to walk away from. You pour into a ceramic mug. Thick, heavy, solid in your hand. You sip. Bitter. So bitter it feels as if 3 generations of ancestors behind you have woken up too. Yet within that bitterness lies honesty. No sugar, no syrup, no whipped cream topping. Just coffee in its purest form. You smile. In the 21st century, you could spend 10 minutes deciding a sugar-free latte, almond milk, light ice, large size, but half a shot, please. In 1850, you only had one choice, drink or don't. And you drink. The spoon taps the bowl, clink, clink. Not a noisy sound, but a soothing one, like a steady background track. You recall the alarms, the phone notifications, the clacking keyboards of the 21st century. Compared to those, the sound of a spoon against a bowl is the meditation music of 1850. On the table sits a block of golden butter. Not wrapped in shiny foil, no label, no brand. Just a soft golden square, melting a little at the corner from the stove's warmth. You spread it over bread. It melts quickly, leaving a glossy trail. You take a bite, the rich, salty, fragrant taste. If someone brought this slice into the 21st century, it would surely sell as artisan bread with organic butter at 10 times the price. Yeah, so. You glance around the kitchen. Wooden walls, wooden table, wooden chairs. No gleaming stainless steel, no induction cooktops, no LED screens. Only simplicity, bathed in golden light streaming through the window. A cat curls up in the corner, eyes half closed, tail flicking now and then. This is the TV of 1850, one channel, but streaming 24/7. Oh. You eat slowly. Each spoonful of porridge, each sip of coffee. Every bite feels like marking another deep breath. There is no rush. No Zoom meetings waiting. No avalanche of emails. Breakfast is simply breakfast, not a race against the clock. In the 21st century, people scroll their phones over breakfast, swallowing headlines of war, inflation, and 50% off ads. In 1850, you only hear the wind, the spoon, and your belly's quiet contentment. It's like comparing rock music to a lullaby. And a lullaby clearly makes it easier to rest. You scoop the last spoon of porridge, sip the final drop of coffee. Warmth spreads from your stomach to your chest, then through your whole body. Breakfast ends, no grandeur, no photos for social media. But you know this very simplicity is what makes the day ahead feel gentle. You rise, the wooden chair creaking eek. a sound just loud enough to declare breakfast is over. Outside, the light has grown brighter, the birds are livelier, and the fields are calling you out. You step from the kitchen, stomach full, face refreshed, heart beating a little faster, thanks to coffee as bitter as medicine. Outside, the morning light was fuller. Beyond the doorway, the morning light is no longer timid streaks sneaking through cracks, but a full, radiant sheet draped across the yard, making everything glimmer a little more. Before you stretches the dirt road leading out to the fields. You step barefoot onto the ground. The earth is still damp with dew, soft like freshly baked sponge cake. Not too muddy, not too hard. Each step leaves a small imprint, like your signature on the soil. In the 21st century, people pay fortunes to run on treadmills at the gym, sweat dripping onto plastic floors for someone else to mop. In 1850, you just walk into the field. The ground itself is the training floor. Your personal trainer, a cow staring at you. And the only workout, tilling the earth. You grip the hoe. It is heavy. So heavy that if it slipped onto your foot, you'd have a workplace accident story to tell the whole village for a week. The handle is wood, smooth from the sweat of many hands. The blade is iron, cold and rough, no brand logo, no 12-month warranty. You lift it, then bring it down. Thud. The iron strikes the earth with a deep, steady sound. The soil breaks apart, loose and fragrant. That earthy scent, no scented candle has ever managed to replicate it. This is the true incense of the farmer's life. Bah. You strike again. Back bent, arms pulling, feet planted. This motion, if brought into a modern gym, would have some fancy name like deadlift, rustic field edition. Each swing stretches your muscles, drives your heartbeat faster. This is CrossFit, only with lifetime free membership. The morning air is still cool, a breeze slipping past to sweep away the sweat. But soon, beads of salt water form on your forehead. They roll down briny, landing on your lips. You lick your lips, and the salt tastes more real than any pink Himalayan salt sold in the market. Oh. As you work the hoe, the familiar sounds of the countryside rise around you. The cow's low bellow, slow and patient like a bass line. The rooster's crow, sharp and high like a violin note slipping in. The sparrows chatter, lively and quick, like a pop melody. And the steady thud of your hoe, keeping the rhythm on drums. The whole field suddenly becomes an unnamed orchestra, playing its morning symphony. You lift your head, looking out. The fields stretch wide, green and endless. The sun climbs higher, pouring light over each furrow of earth. Every patch of soil split open feels like a doorway for seeds, a promise of the next harvest. You take it in and realize no Netflix, no VR headset could match this. This is the biggest screen in the world, live broadcast, infinite resolution. You pause, resting the hoe upright, wiping sweat from your brow. Sitting at the edge of the field, you pull from your pocket a dry piece of bread left from breakfast. You chew slowly, watching the land stretch out before you. That simple bread under the wide sky tastes better than any 21st century brunch with avocado toast. Historians might debate why, but you know it's because you are truly hungry after turning the soil. A breeze passes through, carrying scents of fresh grass, wildflowers, and yes, cow manure. A fragrance combo no one would ever bottle as perfume. And yet here it feels comforting. You feel like part of the land, not just a visitor passing through. You rise, grip the hoe again. Continue. Each swing steady, slow, unhurried. Each strike like a breath, like a beat in the rhythm. The soil loosens, the rows lengthen, and you begin to feel your heart growing lighter. Nah. If in the 21st century you're stressed by deadlines, by flashing red notifications, then here, the only thing you need to handle is the patch of soil before you. The only deadline, sow the seeds in time for the season. The only boss, the weather. And the only KPI, enough rice for the next harvest. You chuckle quietly. In its own way, 1850 isn't easy. But at least it's simple. So simple that a hoe, a patch of land, and a morning's work are enough to make you feel at peace. Yadam. The sun climbs higher, pouring light across the fields. You set the hoe aside, straighten your back, and take a long breath. The fresh air fills your lungs, cool and alive. Your body feels heavy yet light, heavy from labor, light in spirit. The day of 1850 flows on, slow and steady, and you are right in the middle of it. Now it's time to head toward the little town, where new sounds await you. You leave the fields, wipe your sweat, and walk leisurely down the dirt road leading toward town. No painted white lines, no traffic lights. Only the deep grooves of wagon wheels and a few puddles left from yesterday's rain. From a distance you hear the sound of hooves. Clop, 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 a steady rhythm echoing across the ground. That's 1850's version of ride-hailing, just without the app, without the GPS. To call a cab, you'd simply whistle and hope the driver hears you. You step into the town. 2-story wooden houses, tiled roofs, paint faded with time. Windows open, curtains swaying in the breeze. No lead signs, only hand-carved wooden boards, the letters large and small, tilted and uneven. But everyone understands. Over there is the blacksmith shop, over there the general store, and on the corner, the coffee house. You stop at the market. The cries of vendors echo across the square. A woman selling vegetables shouts, "Fresh greens picked this morning!" Her voice is so loud that if she had a microphone, she could host the entire village festival. A butcher waves his cleaver, chopping down onto a wooden block, thunk, thunk, laying down the backbeat for the morning symphony. The market has its own strong scent. Fresh fish, vegetables, meat, and bread just pulled from the oven. A complex blend of aromas. You might wrinkle your nose, but you might also find it far more enticing than the sterile aisles of a 21st century supermarket. If modern supermarkets smell of disinfectant spray, then the market of 1850 smells of real life. Oh, you weave your way past a few stalls and slip into the coffee house. A small place, wooden roof, windows flung wide open. Inside, a few heavy wooden tables and long benches that creak loudly each time someone sits. No neon-lit bar, no menu as long as a novel. Here, you only have 2 choices, coffee or water. You order a cup. The owner pours you a thick, steaming black liquid. You take a sip. Bitter. So bitter it feels as if you could see straight through the century ahead. You smile faintly. Turns out, anywhere in the world, coffee is always the fastest way to punish yourself in the morning. Around you, a few men chat about crops, horse prices, and news from the faraway city. No one checks a phone, no one wears headphones. All the news travels by mouth. The town of 1850 is basically offline Facebook. One man tells a story, another adds to it, and soon the whole table erupts with laughter. Information spreads just as quickly, only without a like button. You rise to your feet and continue your walk. From the corner of the street comes the ringing of hammer on iron. Each strike is strong, steady. Sparks fly, flashing bright against the dark of the forge. You think, this is EDM 1850 edition, only the sound is more metallic and the DJ holds a hammer instead of a mixing board. A little further on, you step into the general store. Inside, everything hangs from the beams, cloth bags, glass jars, salt, sugar, nails, thread. No barcodes, no scanners, no self-checkout machines. Just the shopkeeper sitting behind the counter, counting coins by hand. Each coin rings out ting, ting, a cheerful metallic soundtrack, turning shopping into a true experience. You leave the shop and sit down on a wooden bench along the street. The noon sun begins to shine, its golden light slanting across wooden walls, warming them like an old film photograph. You take a breath. The air carries dust, the scent of horses, the bustle of the market, and the aroma of fresh bread drifting from the corner. A mix of smells that makes you feel you are truly alive. In the 21st century, you might walk into a shopping mall, everything polished, smelling of air conditioning, with international music playing overhead. But here, this little town with its noisy market, its fiery blacksmith, its bitter coffee house feels like a slow-motion film. And in that film, you are the main character. No VIP subscription required. You stand, hearing hooves again. A carriage rattles past, wooden wheels grinding the dirt road, dust rising in a cloud. You step aside, raising your hand in greeting to the driver. No 5-star rating needed, no online tip. A simple nod is enough. You smile. This small provincial town of 1850 is humble, simple, but it is lively, honest, and endearingly messy. You know there's still a whole long afternoon ahead. And a letter, the only kind of message delivery, waiting for you at the writing desk. You head back home after a morning at the market, the coffee house, and catching up on all the neighborhood news. In your pocket, you have a few remaining coins, a small pouch of salt, and a sheet of pure white paper. Not for wrapping goods, not for folding into a paper boat, but for writing a letter. You sit down at the wooden desk by the window. The midday sunlight slants in, golden and lazy, spilling across the rough surface of the wood. On the table sits a bottle of black ink, a quill pen, and a bundle of old letters tied with string. No keyboard, no glowing screen, no typing's notification. Just you, paper, and time. Nay. You dip the quill into the ink. The tip comes up heavy, saturated. When it touches the paper, the ink spreads, dark and bold. Letters emerge slowly, curling like waves. Each word takes several seconds, meaning that in 1850, writing a simple hello could take longer than downloading a full HD movie over dial-up in the 1990s. You continue. Dear brother, I am well today. The fields are green. There was a light rain. The sentences are short, clipped, without emojis, without stickers. If you want to add emotion, you can only doodle a smiley face in the corner. And when the ink smudges, that smile looks more like a cow than a person. You write for a long while. Your hand grows tired, fingers stained with ink, your shirt marked with black smudges. If this were the 21st century, you would complain about a dirty touchscreen. In 1850, you complain about ink fingerprints that trail you for the rest of the day. But in this slowness, there is a strange joy. Every word feels like a breath. Every sentence a heartbeat. And the letter holds not just information, it holds part of your life, your time, your sweat, and a few drops of fallen ink. You set the quill down and blow gently across the page. The ink dries slowly, very slowly. You have to wait, as if watching a video load at 240p, spinning endlessly without finishing. Historians might still debate, was waiting for ink to dry the 19th century's version of a loading bar? You know the answer, yes, except no one could ever press skip ad. When the ink finally dries, you fold the letter. You take a candle, let the wax drip onto the edge of the paper. A wooden seal presses down, leaving a round mark. This was the two-factor authentication of 1850. If the seal was broken, someone had read it. You stand, step outside, and walk toward the village post office. In truth, it's just a wooden house with a big box for letters. The mailman rides a horse, making his rounds once a week, slower than any delivery service you've ever known. The travel time for one letter, sometimes an entire month. Meaning that if you wanted to ask, "Have you had lunch?" by the time it arrived, they had probably already finished their winter supper. You drop the letter into the box. The paper lands with a soft swish. A tiny sound, but one carrying hope. You smile, knowing that in a few weeks, someone far away will smile when they read it. On the way back, you think about the difference. In the 21st century, a message saying "I'm fine" reaches its recipient in less than a second. And yet people often don't reply. In 1850, a letter took a month to arrive, but when opened, every word was read slowly, treasured, and sometimes kept for a lifetime. You chuckle quietly. Maybe slowing down doesn't make information less important. On the contrary, it makes each word more valuable. Every letter is like a rare piece of candy instead of a bag of mass-produced sweets that never ends. Achdi. By the time you return home, the sun is already tilting toward afternoon. On the table, the ink bottle is still there, the quill still damp. You glance at the letter already sent, then at the bundle of old letters tied with string. For a moment, you feel not alone. Because in 1850, a letter could be an invisible thread binding two people across space and time. You sigh softly, relieved. Outside, the sound of the river trickles in. Perhaps it's time to go there, to do a bit of laundry. You carry a basin of clothes and step out toward the riverbank. No front-loading washing machine, no quick wash 15 minutes mode. Just you, the river, and your two hands, sometimes doubling as a high-powered engine. The riverbank in the afternoon is quiet. The water drifts lazily, carrying with it the golden light reflected from the tilted sun. The gurgling water sounds like an overture, announcing that laundry hour has begun. You set the basin down, crouch, and prepare yourself. In the 21st century, people call this Laundry Day. In 1850, people simply call it an ordinary Tuesday. You pick up the square bar of soap, yellowish and misshapen. Its smell is strong, direct, with no attempt to hide. It's part tallow, part lye, and faintly like the kitchen after frying fish. If any perfume brand dared to release this scent, it would only sell to the most devoted historians. You dip the shirt into the water. A swish-swish rises as the fabric soaks, heavy and dragging. You begin to scrub. Hands gripping, twisting, wringing, rubbing. If a trainer were here, they'd probably call it bicep and tricep workout with built-in cardio. Sweat beads on your skin, but you know you're burning calories. For free. The soap melts, bubbles rise. The foam is sparse, fragile, not thick and fluffy like on TV commercials. But when the wind passes through, the tiny bubbles catch the sunlight, glimmer, float upward, then burst. You smile, realizing sometimes joy is nothing more than a soap bubble slipping free from your hand. You slap the clothes hard against a rock by the riverbank. Thud! Thud! The sound carries far, like the drums of a festival. If someone recorded it, they might think you were playing some strange instrument rather than doing laundry. You strike a few more times, then chuckle softly. This is the natural drum set of 1850, an endless concert, free of charge. A breeze drifts by, carrying the smell of river water, mud, and soap. A blend of scents impossible to sell in any marketplace. But it makes you feel truly clean, not only your clothes, but your mind as well. You rinse the shirt in the river. The water grows murky, drifting away with the current. Each ring sends drops falling, drip, drip, like the beat of an instrument. You feel as if you're part of a strange orchestra, with wet clothes as the only instruments. Around you, a few women are also washing. Their laughter rings out bright and sharp between the slaps of fabric. The conversations circle around crops, family, and sometimes the gossip overheard from someone's household. In other words, the riverbank of 1850 is the village group chat, except instead of typing, everyone scrubs clothes while trading stories. You hear one woman laugh loudly, saying her husband's shirt tore at the shoulder from farm work. Another replies, "A torn shoulder's lucky. My husband's shirt lost the whole sleeve." The group bursts into laughter. You sit there, scrubbing and thinking, indeed, content in every era has its own entertainment value. After a while, your basin of laundry is clean. You wring the clothes tight, then hang them on a rope stretched between two trees. The garments are heavy, dripping drip drip onto the grass. The wind blows, fabric flutters like little sails catching the breeze. This scene, if captured in a photo, could easily become a computer wallpaper titled "Peaceful Village Life." You sit down, sigh, and wipe your forehead. Your hands ache, your back hurts, but you feel content. In the 21st century, you'd only need to press the start button on a washing machine, then scroll the internet while waiting. In 1850, you must wash with your whole body. The result, clean clothes plus a potential six-pack. The sun sinks lower. Golden afternoon light spreads across the river, shimmering like honey poured over water. Clothes flap in the breeze, releasing the raw scent of soap, a cleanliness untouched by chemicals. You watch, and a deep calm settles inside you. You know that after this washing, there will be a gentle pause. You can rest under a tree, listen to the birds, and let the wind dry both your body and your clothes. A day in 1850 continues slowly, filled with simplicity and plenty of soap bubbles. You wring out the last shirt, hang it on the line, and let out a long exhale. Your back damp with sweat, your hands sticky with soap, and your heart pounding as if you just finished a CrossFit session. But the difference is, no membership fee, no trainer shouting in your ear, "Come on!" In 1850, nature is both trainer and gym. After the work is done, you find a big tree by the riverbank. Its shade spreads wide, laying down a soft green carpet on the ground. Grass cushions you, dotted with wildflowers like tiny pillows placed by nature. You sit, lean against the rough trunk, and slowly relax. The midday breeze stirs gently. It's not an air conditioner at 16 degrees, but it carries the smell of fresh grass, earth, and clean river water. A coolness that is natural, free of electricity, and doesn't need a remote to adjust. You breathe deeply, then close your eyes. In the distance, birds call to each other. A magpie cries loud like an MC announcing lunchtime for the whole village. A few sparrows land near your feet, pecking at stray grains of rice left from the morning. They hop and dart about like little school children running in the yard. You chuckle softly. In the 21st century, lunchtime entertainment often means scrolling TikTok. In 1850, lunchtime entertainment is watching sparrows. And strangely, their hopping is just as captivating as a clip with 1 million views. You pull from your cloth bag a leftover piece of bread and a few small apples. A simple lunch, hard bread, sour apples, and well water in a wooden flask. No sushi, no pizza, no bubble tea with full toppings. But as you bite into the dry bread and sip the cool water, you realize taste often depends on whether you are truly hungry. The apple is crisp. One bite, crunch, its sour, sweet juice spreads across your tongue, making you wince and then laugh. In the 21st century, you'd probably post a story captioned, "Eat clean, live healthy." In 1850, you just eat, no one cares. Oh. You rest your hands behind your head and lie down on the grass. The branches above filter sunlight into flickering golden spots like oil lamps hanging in the air. You close your eyes and listen to the rustle of wind through leaves. That sound repeats steady like a natural sleep playlist. No Spotify, no Bluetooth speaker. Just a tree and a breeze. Your body slowly relaxes. Eyes close, breathing slows. You realize you are drifting into a short nap. A power nap, 1850 edition. No desk, no office chair, no deadlines breathing down your neck. Just you in the shade of a tree. Oh. In your drowsy half-sleep, you hear insects. Cicadas buzzing vey, steady like a fan on its lowest setting. Bees humming, sometimes offbeat, like someone turned background music up a little too high. All of it blends into a free soundtrack. An apple falls from an overhead branch, landing with a thump in the grass beside you. You crack one eye open and see a tiny squirrel dart over, swiftly carrying it away. It doesn't greet you, just takes the fallen lunch as an unexpected prize. You smile to yourself, the forest food delivery service, faster than light. Time drifts slowly. You don't know how long you've slept, 10 minutes or half an hour. But when you open your eyes, the sun has tilted a little lower. The light turns more golden, softer. The breeze still blows, but now it carries the warmth of afternoon. You sit up, stretch your back, and hear your bones crackle. Not an alarm of age, but the familiar sound of a day's labor. You feel lighter, refreshed. A simple nap has recharged your battery. No charging cable, no outlet, just the shade of a tree. You stand, brush the grass from your clothes. In the distance, children's voices rise. The afternoon class is about to begin. The one-room schoolhouse in the nearby village is filling up with pupils. And you, curious, decide to wander over. Another day in 1850 unfolds slowly with children's laughter echoing through the air. You follow their voices along a dirt path until you see a humble wooden building. A roof of reddish-brown tiles, walls weathered gray by sun and rain. Atop the roof, a small iron bell rings softly, not an electric chime, but a cast-iron bell pulled by rope. That bell doesn't just mark class time, it is the background music of the entire village. Inside, the one-room school is already full. A single space lined with rough wooden benches. No separate desks, no dividers, no air conditioning. Children sit shoulder to shoulder, big and small together, like one extended family meeting. You step inside and it feels like joining a giant Zoom meeting. Except here, every microphone is unmuted, and no one knows how to turn theirs off. At the front, the teacher stands tall. He wears a dark robe holding a long ruler. This is the PowerPoint of 1850, each key point presented with a tap of the ruler on the board. Thock, thock, and the whole class falls silent as if someone just hit share screen. The blackboard in the center is covered with chalk marks. The letters are large, slanted, sometimes smudged, but clear. No Times New Roman, no colorful slides. Just white chalk on black, minimalism every modern designer would envy. The children are a mix of ages. A 12-year-old works on addition. Beside him, an 8-year-old practices the alphabet. At the back, a 16-year-old stifles a yawn, already thinking about the farm work waiting this afternoon. This is the original multitask classroom, every level, every age, crammed into one room. In the 21st century, people panic when a Zoom call accidentally mixes grade schoolers with college students. In 1850, that happened every day. The only difference, there was no leave meeting button. You sit down in a corner. The wooden bench is long, hard, and creaks creak each time you shift. On the desk, you see rough carvings, names of students, odd little symbols. This is the comment section of 1850, preserved far longer than any chat log. The teacher calls on a boy to read aloud. He clutches the book, voice trembling, spelling out each word slowly. The syllables break apart, but the class listens intently. You realize here, reading fluently is as big an achievement as finishing a Netflix series in the 21st century. In the corner, a young girl writes with a quill and a small ink bottle. Her hand shakes, ink smudges across the page, leaving a dark streak. She sighs. If she had emojis, she would have typed. But since she doesn't, she simply starts over. You chuckle quietly. In the 21st century, students complain when lag deletes their homework online. In 1850, they complain when ink blots ruin an entire page. The technology is different, but the frustration feels the same. The teacher continues. He speaks of arithmetic, of grammar, of morals. All mixed together, as if someone combined math, literature, and civics into one lesson. Historians still debate, was this educational creativity or simply a shortage of teachers? You think, at least it kept the children from ever getting bored. Outside the window, afternoon light streams in. Dust motes float in the air, sparkling like glitter. A few bees buzz past, ignoring the lecture. The wind slips through the cracks, blending with the voices of reading and teaching, forming a strange harmony. Not noisy, not chaotic, just life. You lean back, listening. The teacher's steady tone, the children's replies, the chalk squeaking on the board. These sounds, slow and raw, could lull you into another nap. A peaceful nap while the rest of the class is still studying hard. When the lesson ends, the bell rings, clang, clang. Children pour into the yard, laughing, kicking up clouds of dust. You stand, stretch your back, and follow them out. The afternoon sun tilts low, glowing golden, and the road leads you onward to the apothecary where the scent of herbs awaits. You step out of the small wooden schoolhouse, the afternoon sun stretching across the ground like a golden carpet. The road leads you to a low building with a wooden sign out front that reads Pharmacy, the town's apothecary. No flashing neon logos, no cheerful jingles declaring we love you, only the faint scent of herbs drifting out as you approach. You push the door open. Inside, it is cooler and dimmer than outside. Light streams through a small window, falling across tall wooden shelves stacked with glass jars. Large jars, small jars, brown and clear, filled with roots, dried leaves, white powders, golden liquids. This is the vitamin supermarket of 1850, only without instructions printed in 3 languages. The doctor, or rather the healer, sits behind a wooden desk. He has a long silver beard, glasses sliding down his nose, and a slow, steady demeanor. Before him lies a thick notebook, a quill, and a steaming cup of herbal tea. You greet him, he nods and asks, "How are you feeling today?" Before you can answer, he pulls out a bundle of roots, sniffs them, and nods knowingly, as if reading your entire family's health history. You look around and see all kinds of remedies. One jar labeled willow bark for headaches. Another filled with peppermint leaves for stomach aches. There's even a jug of liquor steeped with ginseng root, ginger root, and some other root you'd rather not guess. If this were the 21st century, you would find a long aisle of multivitamins, omega-3, collagen, zinc, magnesium. In 1850, everything is simplified into use whatever plant is at hand. The doctor pours you a small cup of brown liquid. You bring it to your nose. Its smell is sharp, pungent, part liquor, part fermented sewer water. He says, drink it, good for the liver. You take a sip. Bitter, astringent, spicy, then a burning heat sliding down your throat. You grimace, eyes squeezed shut. This is clearly the full option bubble tea of 1850, except no one would ever order it twice. On the shelves, you notice many glass jars of white powders. Some labeled quinine for malaria, some marked opium for pain relief. You study them and think, this is the original version of paracetamol plus sedatives. Historians still debate, did these actually cure illnesses or just make the patient forget they were sick? You figure, at the very least, they helped people sleep well. The apothecary also sells little essentials, cloth bandages, sewing needles, liniments. There is no cosmetics counter, no whitening cream. Only a jar of lard mixed with herbs, applied to both cure dry skin and repel mosquitoes. A multi-purpose product that modern brands would surely envy. You try opening an old medical book. The pages are yellowed, the handwriting tiny and cramped. Each medicine recipe looks like a cooking recipe. How many leaves to take, how much water to boil, how many hours to simmer. After a while, you realize a doctor in 1850 was at once a pharmacist, a cook, and an amateur chemist. A 3-in-1 job without the need for any supporting apps. Outside the window, you hear the clop of a horse's bell. A man rushes in, carrying a child coughing violently. The doctor stands up, calm, and hands over a bottle of cough syrup made from honey, ginger, and a splash of liquor. The child drinks it, grimaces, then goes silent, falling asleep in his father's arms. You watch the scene and think, truly a good medicine, curing illness and also curing chatter. You leave the pharmacy carrying a small bundle of dried leaves the doctor gave you, with instructions to brew it as tea every night. The afternoon sun has turned golden, its light soft as honey, spread across the town. In your hand, the herbal bundle releases a faint earthy fragrance. You smile quietly. In the 21st century, you would receive medicine with a bill stretching a meter long. In 1850, you receive medicine with a simple instruction, drink when it's cold. Much simpler. You walk on, pondering the difference. On one side, modern medicine, machines, technology, shiny pills. On the other, jars of herbs, bitter taste, fiery smell, liquor. Who knows which is better, but surely both have the same purpose, to make you feel just a little safer. The road opens again before you. In the distance, the hammering sound rings out, the call of a workshop. You follow the clang-clang echoing from the end of the street. The metallic rhythm, steady and sharp, both harsh and addictive. It repeats like a minimalist techno track, but the 1850 version, no DJ, only hammer and anvil. You step into the workshop. The wooden door wide open, inside the furnace flames flicker, glowing red like a volcano's mouth. No massive machines, no assembly lines. Only people, tools, and patience. The blacksmith stands in the center of the shop, heavy hammer in hand. He lifts it high, then brings it down. Clang. Each strike booms in your ears, making the whole room tremble. Sparks burst and scatter, drawing bright orange streaks in the air. If this were the 21st century, someone would already be live streaming this scene with the caption, "Industrial ASMR, fall asleep to the sound of blacksmith hammers." You sit on a wooden bench in the corner, watching. The sharp tang of hot iron mixes with the smell of burning coal. Smoke drifts in the yellow light, making the space feel both stifling and mysterious. And strangely, you find it relaxing, like being in a charcoal steam spa, handmade edition. It's not just ironwork. In another corner, a carpenter is sawing wood. The blade moves back and forth, screech, screech like a violin played slowly. The scent of pine fills the air, sweet and comforting, making you want to inhale deeply again. Each wood shaving falls to the floor like tiny sticky notes, marking progress. You glance around. Every corner of the workshop is its own department: carpenters, blacksmiths, leather workers. A compact production system, no middle management, no KPIs, no endless meetings. Only work, hands, and products. If you compare, this is the handcrafted startup of 1850. Lean model, low cost, just enough profit to live. A young cobbler is making leather shoes. He cuts, stitches, pulls the thread, each motion slow but steady. The sharp, earthy smell of tanned leather rises from his hands. He looks up, smiles at you, then keeps going. You watch the shoes take shape, no logos, no ads, no TikTok trends. But you know, these shoes will last longer than any limited edition sneakers of the 21st century. The hammer keeps ringing, a steady rhythm repeating like the heartbeat of the workshop. You close your eyes and listen. Clang, clang, clang. The sound pounds into you, pulling you toward a meditative state. If any app recorded it, it would become a top deep focus playlist. A child runs in, carrying a cloth-wrapped loaf of bread for his father. The craftsman takes it, laughs, wipes his sweat, and takes a big bite. You think this is truly fast food, 1850 style, bread delivered by hand, no apps required. The boy runs back out, his little feet thudding lop lop on the dirt floor. A simple scene, yet so full of life. You notice the items in the workshop: knives, axes, hose tables, chairs, shoes, even pots and pans. Every object bears the trace of human hands: a carved mark, a crooked stitch, a small dent. They are not perfect, but it is precisely this imperfection that gives them a soul. So different from modern industrial products, identical to the point of being anonymous. You pick up a freshly forged knife, heavy, with a rough wooden handle and a blade that glitters in the light. It is both a tool and a testament to human strength. You find it beautiful, not the polished kind of beauty, but beauty because it is real. The daylight outside begins to soften. The hammer strikes slow, the sawing grows faint. The blacksmith sets down his hammer, wipes his sweat with a cloth, then sits to catch his breath. The carpenter gathers wood shavings, stacking them in a corner. The workshop quiets, leaving only the faint crackle of fire. You rise and step outside. Evening has begun to settle. The smell of cooking fires drifts from the village houses. You know, it is time to return home, to share dinner with family under candlelight. You leave the workshop, the day already tilting into dusk. The sun no longer harsh but soft, like a linen cloth draped over rooftops. Smoke from kitchen fires spreads through the village, winding through trees and brushing your face. This is the public announcement system of 1850. When you see smoke, you know it is mealtime. You step into the house. In the kitchen, flames crackle under a black cast-iron pot. The wood pops like tiny fireworks, sparkling in the dim light. On the long wooden table, bowls and chopsticks are neatly arranged. No elegant tablecloth, no scented candles and glass jars. Only simplicity and the golden flicker of firelight. Tonight's main dish is stew. Potatoes, carrots, onions, beef simmered until tender. Steam billows upward, carrying sweet, savory aromas mingled with wood smoke. You breathe in deeply. This is candlelit fine dining in 1850, only without a 3-page menu and a bill triple your monthly wage. A loaf of fresh bread sits beside it. Crust hard, crumb soft, with a warm, rich fragrance. You tear off a piece, steam rising from within. The crack rings out, crisp and satisfying. If this were the 21st century, you'd record it in slow motion and post on TikTok with the caption, "So satisfying." In 1850, you simply eat and feel truly satisfied. The whole family gathers around. The wooden chairs creak whenever someone shifts. Wooden chopsticks tap against clay bowls, kang kang, the background music of dinner. Spoons clink together, bowls set down, blending with the hum of conversation. You realize no restaurant soundtrack is needed. These simple sounds already form a symphony. A child bursts into laughter, spilling soup across the table. His mother shakes her head, wiping it quickly with a cloth. Everyone laughs, then goes on eating. In 1850, a child spilling soup is family drama. In the 21st century, a child spilling Coke on a laptop is financial tragedy. You lift the ladle, pour soup into your bowl. It's hot, pale brown with meat and vegetables mingling together. You blow, then take a sip. The sweetness spreads in your mouth, warmth running down your throat. It feels like someone draping a quilt over you on a winter's night. A primal comfort, no fancy spices required. You reach for pickled vegetables. Sour, salty, crisp, awakening your taste buds after the rich stew. In the 21st century, this would be the national side dish, outlasting any food trend. During the meal, everyone talks about the harvest, the market, the neighbors. No phones, no TV cutting in. Each story is told slowly, fully heard, before the next person speaks. This is the Family Podcast. No mic, no background music, but with a 100% rating. You listen, chewing, smiling. You realize happiness can be as simple as having someone to share a meal with. Not exotic delicacies, not a grand banquet. Just hot stew, crusty bread, and laughter. Outside, the sky darkens. Golden light of sunset fades to purple, then to deep blue. In the kitchen, fire and oil lamps become the only sources of light. Flames flicker, shadows dance across the walls. The air grows warmer, as though the whole house is wrapped in the embrace of light. The meal nears its end. Everyone takes the last piece of bread, the last sip of soup. The table lingers with the scent of stew, of smoke, and the clinking of bowls and chopsticks. Your belly is full, your heart is full, and your eyes begin to grow heavy. If this were the 21st century, dinner would probably end with everyone pulling out their phones, lost in the glow of blue screens. In 1850, dinner ended with the whole family clearing the table, then sitting back down together to share a few more stories. A small difference, but one that stretched the moment, making it warmer. You stand up, joining everyone to gather the dishes. The sound of water splashing, wooden chairs scraping, and fire still crackling fills the room. A simple melody closing a peaceful evening. Outside night has fallen. And the joy of the evening isn't over yet, because now comes family entertainment without screens. After dinner, the kitchen quiets down. Pots and pans are washed, bowls and chopsticks stacked away, the fire in the stove reduced to glowing red embers. Outside, the night fully settles, darkness draping over rooftops, leaving only a few glittering stars. Inside, the family gathers around the wooden table. No TV on the wall, no phones lighting up. Only the flicker of oil lamps and the sound of human voices. This is the Netflix and chill of 1850, except Netflix is oral storytelling, and chill is a creaky wooden chair. The father begins to tell a story. He speaks slowly, his voice deep, pausing long between sentences, as if each one carries the scent of smoke and a hint of watered-down liquor. The children sit still, eyes wide, waiting for the thrilling details. The story might be about a long journey, a great storm, or a hero from the village. You realize storytelling was the live broadcast of 1850, No cameras, no scripts, but the ratings were always high because the only audience was right there at the table. After a while, the mother brings out a book. Hardcover, thick paper, slightly yellowed. She reads aloud, each word clear and steady. No AI narration, no audiobooks, but with a warmth that technology struggles to recreate. Her voice blends with the sound of turning pages, sot-sote, like a built-in sound effect. You listen and feel yourself slowing down. The words sink in, each line melting on your tongue like a slow dissolving candy. This is binge watching, 1850 edition, reading a book aloud for the whole family, chapter after chapter. Then someone brings out an instrument. Maybe a violin, maybe a mandolin, or perhaps just a wooden flute. Music fills the room, simple, slightly offbeat, but heartfelt. The children clap their hands, laughing. The adults tap spoons on the table, tok tok tok, forming an improvised drum line. You think this is truly offline Spotify. The playlist has only a few songs, but no matter how often they're played, they remain comforting. And more importantly, everyone takes part. No one just sits and listens passively. Everyone is an artist. When the music stops, the family goes back to talking. Someone shares an old memory. Someone cracks a joke. Someone asks how the day went. No group chats, no heart emojis. Just a nod, a smile, a short reply. You notice the oil lamp casting light across their faces. Eyes shining, cheeks glowing, shadows flickering on the wall. The small room suddenly feels vast because it's filled with laughter. In that moment, you realize evening entertainment in 1850 wasn't about killing time. It was about stretching time, drawing people closer, making the night feel warmer. No HD visuals, no 7.1 surround sound. Just presence. A child yawns wide, then lays their head on the table. The mother scoops them up, wraps them in a blanket, and lays them in bed. The others keep trying to stay awake, eager to hear the rest of the story. You smile to yourself. This is binging a series late at night, 1850 edition. The only difference being that the story never really ends, because the storyteller can always invent more. The night grows deeper. Outside, insects hum, wind brushes across the roof. Inside, the fire has gone out, the oil lamp flickers. Voices fade, leaving only the sound of a spoon tapping lightly against a cup of herbal tea. You lean back, eyelids heavy. The storyteller's voice drifts, then dissolves into the wind. A warmth spreads through you, as if the whole house is rocking you to sleep. Yum. You know the final moment of the day is near. When the oil lamp's glow is your only companion in the dark, and when silence becomes the greatest gift of the night. The story pauses. The music fades. In the room, only the small glow of an oil lamp remains on the table. The flame flickers, orange gold. It sways each time a draft slips through the cracks of the door. With every flicker, the shadows on the wall shift too, stretching long, shrinking back, then melting into one another. The room suddenly feels like a primitive cinema. The only film is the silhouette of family, and the main actors are everyone sitting right here. Your eyes turn to the lamp. Its body is clear glass, filled with kerosene. The wick burns red, small yet steady. The flame doesn't blaze with the harsh white of electric bulbs, but glows softly, golden, intimate. If this were the 21st century, this light would be marketed as light mode for sleep, a natural free filter, gentle on the eyes. The smell of kerosene drifts out, pungent, mixed with the lingering scent of firewood smoke. A fragrance not mass-produced, not sold in supermarkets. But this is the true scent of sleep in 1850. You lift the lamp, carry it to the corner of the room. Its little glow moves with you, sweeping across the walls, revealing every crack, every dark grain of wood. Behind it, the darkness rushes back in, thick, heavy, swallowing the space whole. You suddenly realize, in the 21st century, darkness is rare. There are always streetlights, house lamps, glowing screens. But in 1850, darkness was the default. And the oil lamp was just a small spark holding its ground against the vast ocean of night. You sit down watching the flame dance. Each time the oil snaps with a soft tick, you imagine it as a whisper. The flickering glow makes your eyelids grow heavy. You think, if an app designer were here, they'd name this experience Sleep Mode, Beta version 1850. Outside, the wind whistles through the roof beams. The insects still hum steady, like a playlist that never ends. The oil lamp doesn't chase away the darkness. It only opens a small circle of light, just enough for you to see a familiar face, a hand resting on the table, and a weary yet peaceful smile. A child slumps over the table. His mother gently lifts him, carries him to bed. The lamp's glow brushes over his messy hair, making it shimmer like golden threads. The child breathes evenly, asleep, no need for a lullaby playing from a Bluetooth speaker. You stretch out your hand, warming it by the flame. The heat is soft, not harsh, just enough to push back the chill creeping in from the door. You think, in the age of smartphones, people hold their devices to warm themselves, with the glow of a screen. But in 1850, they warmed themselves with an oil lamp, fewer functions, but certainly warmer. The room grows quiet. Only the heartbeat of the lamp remains, small, steady, patient. You listen to it as if it were the heartbeat of the whole house. Each faint crackle, each wisp of smoke whispers, "It's time to rest." You lean back, eyes drifting shut. The flame before you blurs, then seems to dissolve into the darkness. And in that moment you realize this light is not for work, not for reading the news, not to brighten the whole world. It is only to guide you slowly, gently into the night. If in the 21st century you must turn on dark mode on your phone, set a timer to shut it down, and put on blue light glasses before sleeping, then in 1850 you only needed to blow out the oil lamp. One simple, tidy action, like placing a period at the end of a long day. Outside, darkness stretches wide, thick, covering fields and rooftops. The sky is full of stars, glittering as if someone had sprinkled sugar across a black cloth. The small oil lamp inside the room is just a tiny spark against the ocean of stars. Yet that tiny spark is enough to make people feel at peace. You sigh softly. The lamp leans, burning lower. The night is calling you. And the bed is waiting. You set the oil lamp down on the table. The flame shrinks, wavers, then is blown out. A thin wisp of smoke rises, curling into gray, the smell of kerosene lingering. Darkness rushes in, wrapping everything like a great soft blanket. You step toward the bed. The wooden frame creaks as you sit. The quilt is thick, heavy, smelling of old linen mixed with kitchen smoke. You slip under it, pulling the weight across your shoulders, rough but warm. In the 21st century, people choose premium memory foam mattresses, ultra-light duvets, 800 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets. In 1850, you have a wooden bed and a linen quilt. And yet sleep comes easier. In the darkness, you listen. No traffic, no honking horns, no phone ringtones. Only the sound of wind at the eaves whispering across the tiles. The steady chorus of insects, hushed, rhythmic, like a secret symphony. Far away, a dog barks, then falls silent. Together, they form a lullaby of the night, playing endlessly, no repeat mode needed. You hear your own heartbeat. Each slow beat blends with the wind, the insects. Your body loosens, melting into the dark. Before your eyes close for good, you think back on the day just passed. Waking at dawn to the crow of a rooster. Washing your face with a wooden dipper. A simple breakfast of bread, oatmeal, bitter coffee. Out in the fields, listening to the sound of soft earth. A walk through the market, a stop at the apothecary, a seat in the classroom, washing by the river, napping under the shade of a tree, then dining by firelight. A whole day with no electricity, no internet, no notifications, no deadlines. Only sun, wind, earth, water, and laughter. You smile. Historians may argue forever, was life in 1850 harsh or simple, lacking or complete? But you know this much, it offered one thing very clearly: quiet. You turn, finding a comfortable position. The mattress is not soft like a hotel's. The quilt doesn't smell of floral fabric softener. But as your eyelids grow heavy, you realize sleep doesn't care about brands. Sleep only needs silence, darkness, and a body willing to stop. Outside, the stars still shine. Pale light slips through the window cracks, painting faint white streaks across the wooden floor. The room is dark, but not frightening, gentle, calm, like a vast embrace holding you. In the 21st century, you might curl into the blue glow of a screen before bed, trying to shut your mind off after a flood of notifications. But in 1850, you simply blew out the oil lamp. Darkness fell at once, simple, neat, absolute. Nothing stood between you and sleep. You inhale deeply, exhale slowly. The cool air carries hints of wood, grass, and soil. Each breath dissolves into the night, lighter, steadier. You feel yourself sinking, like a pebble dropping into still water. The night of 1850 cradles you. No electric lights, no Wi-Fi, no artificial sounds. Only silence, shadow, and the rhythm of your own breath. You close your eyes. The day folds shut, and sleep unfolds. So then, you've just walked with me through a full day in 1850. A day without phones, without the internet, without artificial light. Only sun, wind, earth, water, and the simple sound of laughter. Maybe you smiled at a few ridiculous comparisons. Maybe you nodded gently at the sound of a hoe striking soil, a wooden dipper scooping water, or a spoon tapping a bowl. And maybe your eyes are now drifting shut, your heartbeat slowing as you begin to slip into sleep. That is exactly the purpose of History for Sleep, to tell history like a lullaby, so you can learn, dream, and rest all at once. If this journey felt comforting, please leave a small like, a soft subscribe, and if you'd like, share it so others can also fall asleep in the arms of history. Don't worry, I won't wake you with an alarm clock. I only hope to see you again on the next journey. Wishing you a peaceful sleep, and see you soon in the bedtime stories of History for Sleep.